what's something that's happened to you recently where like, so I've had a few things recently where it's like, you look at it objectively, like right in the moment, you're like, fuck, that's bad. But then I've been able to just be like, nah, this all good.
Yeah.
So this has a long tail, I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure this has a way of working out in the end. Like, have you got any of those recently where you like stopped yourself from being bummed because you knew at some point it would pay you back?
I think like, I mean, this happens to me a lot, but like the way I learned that, I think I'm going to use this as an example. The way I learned that was from fighting, like, and losing. Like losing and fighting feels like the end of the world. Like you've just done like 8 weeks and you've traveled and you've cut weight and you've done all this stuff. And that last fight, going back to the timeline, basically I lost that fight last year. I got stuck in a lockdown. I went to San Diego so that I could at least train. And then I got an eye surgery. And then I went back to the fighting. And then I got another eye surgery after the last fight. So it was pretty crazy because I had I got the eye surgery in December at Christmas, like 2 days before Christmas. And then they told me to have like a month off, obviously. And then I pretty much, after like, I think 2 or 3 weeks of training, went into camp. So from having like a long time off and getting off a surgery and all those repercussions that happens with that, I went straight into camp. So I shocked my body. It was rough. It was really rough. It was a really rough camp. I didn't enjoy 1 minute of it. I tried to so much. I'm always trying to be that person that's trying to bring the positive. I had a lot of weight to cut, and so that really takes the fun out of it. I was kind of banging everything together last minute, and I had just moved back to the Gold Coast because of the eye surgeries, and so I'd put a lot of pressure on the gym kind of to, you know, give me what I needed and the resources that I needed to be where I was when I'd only been back for like a month or two. But, you know, I found the right gyms, I found the right people, and I'm always very lucky that I'm from here and that kind of thing. But and then I cut maybe like in the last week, I think I did like 7 kilos.
Damn.
So it's like big for a girl. Like I can do it, and I did it healthy, and luckily I've got a fantastic dietitian. Use Geordie? Yeah. Best in the world. TFT. The fight dietitian Geordie. So I like that is another thing that I'm very grateful for. So like obviously if I had all that weight to cut and I didn't have someone as knowledgeable as him, it would have been a different story.
You wouldn't have been able to do it, eh? Nah.
And I mean, like, as much as I hated it, I was in Hawaii. It was not that hard to be, you know, sad. And then two, I didn't really like I didn't overthink it, and I didn't do it bad, so I wasn't like cutting into any storage of my body that was going to be negatively impacting my health. So that and at the end of the day, I did it pretty easily, which is good. Like I did 7 kilos. 7 kilos is a lot. It's never going to be easy, but I did it easily for my body, which was cool.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of muscle mass, and that always makes a difference and everything like that. So I cut all the weight, made weight. It was a big feat to even be in there. You know, I'd hardly even sparred because I was still getting used to the eye. I can't see that well out of that left eye now. Yeah, so that's all the whole, you know, adjustment thing. And then I lost. And like it was just like a 3-round kind of stand-up fight that was just like, I found it, like watching it back, I found it pretty boring. I didn't
like
fight.
You just didn't get going.
I didn't pull any trigger in my brain. My brain's like yelling at myself. I'm like, go, dude, like, let's go. Like, and
it's hard to do sometimes. And I could
hear it from the corner, and I'm like, and I just couldn't, like, I don't know what was going on, but it's just like.
Did you take any big shots?
Nah.
See, sometimes
I protected myself from that.
So this is me, righto, armchair fucking quarterback right now. Just this is the most off-base person to give you a fucking comment about fighting. It's like the times where I surfed good, I took a fucking big hit early. Like first, like you just for me surfing wise, like if you go over the falls, like you just try and take off on one late, and you just go over the fucking falls and just get completely destroyed, and then you get back up and you're like, oh fuck, it's not that bad. Like I can actually deal with it. And I always look at those fights and I'm like, sometimes maybe you just need to get fucking smacked, like just straight up, and then like like shake it off and be like, it's not that bad. Like I can fucking do this, you know?
Yep.
So that's my, like sometimes I look at those fights and I'm like, fuck, maybe one of you guys just needs to eat a shot and just get the fucking ball roll. Like know that you're in the fight.
Yeah. No, honestly, you are on the money. Like, and that happened with my karate days, happened with a whole lot of stuff. But like sometimes even inspiring, I'll need like a little thing to be like, oh yeah.
I got this. I can take a shot.
Yeah, go. And it's so crazy. I've had so many fights, and I still, each time you're a little bit in your head, and then I guess this time I was even further in my head because of the eye, and I was trying to protect it, and I knew I needed to get another surgery after this fight, so I shouldn't have really gone in with that mindset, knowing that I don't want to make it worse than what it already is. I didn't do anything dodgy with my medicals. Technically, I did everything by the book, but the medical system allowed me to loop through a little bit. Like, we have great medicals. Like MMA, we have to get MRIs on our head, we get eye checks, all that sort of stuff. My eyes were in date, so
so they didn't have to check your eyes because you've already done it.
Yeah, and so I didn't really know if I was meant to be fighting, because at the end of the day, ophthalmologists are no MMA expert, which is understandable because they don't understand the sport, which is not obviously their niche.
Yeah.
My ophthalmologist has been absolutely amazing in working with me to, understand that I'm not going to quit fighting. So he's done his best, and at his best amount of knowledge of the sport. And he hasn't told me, obviously he was like, it's best if you stop, but you're obviously not gonna. So this is what we're going to do to help you on that journey, which is great. But no one necessarily knows whether or not you are or aren't meant to go back. So, but it's just all at the same risk. It's all at the same risk, I guess, if I hadn't had all these issues, and that was my mindset. But then knowing that I had to get another surgery, that maybe was just playing in the back of my mind. And then so I think I just never pulled the trigger. And like, the only problem is the 4-ounce gloves, like you can't just take a shot. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the problem. And like, and if it hits me in the eye, then I can't do that either, and that sort of thing, because they are smaller gloves. Like if it was like even 10s or 8s, like with the no fingers kind of thing, like proper gloves, like boxing gloves. Yeah,
that's the only problem with my theory is that you just eat that one, and it's that one that can fucking put
the one that kind of got with the Jose Aldo kind of vibes or something like that, and you're just like, damn, like that's like not what we want to risk. But it's like you want to kind of get into a little bit of a firefight.
Just get in a scrap.
Just get in the range a little bit more, be like, in danger a little bit more, and then just jump out and be like, And every time you get hit with 4-ounce gloves in a fight, you're just like, oh, it's not even that bad. Like, it's so crazy because everyone's like, how do you manage it or whatever, how do you deal with it? And you're like, it's so weird to say this, but it's not that bad.
Like, in the moment,
you're
not feeling it.
Adrenaline's there. You're obviously thinking about the competition. You're thinking about winning. You're thinking about the technical side of things. You're like, I need to get points. I need to do this, that. I want to get it to the ground. I want to stay on the feet, whatever. You're always thinking about all that sort of stuff. If something glides on your forehead, you're kind of just like, oh, that's a point down. You're not really There's ones and every now and again, like big bangs that you're like, oh shit, like that. Oh, I got a little bit hazy there, but we're back on.
The neck up for it.
I should have kept my chin down a bit, or I got caught off guard or whatever. If you get knocked down or something like that, that's definitely a wake up call. But in the general, like just the like probably I'd say like 80% of the shots thrown in like 3-round fights are just like scrapers, and you're just like, I'm good. I can handle that. I've done this before. But for, whatever reason, I just kind of never got to that point. Like you're saying, I never got to it's not that bad. It wasn't that bad. And I mean, I was still taking some shots, but I never engaged enough. I wasn't doing like second phase attacks and all these other things that I looked back and critiqued. But it was just kind of like a shit way to lose. Because you're just like, I just let myself down there. Like,
you'd rather go out on your sword kind of thing.
I'd rather us have like, I definitely got what I think is the best version of my opponent at that time, Dana Silva. And I feel like I should have given her my best version so that we could have, really found out who was the ultimate fighter after that. So it was kind of like a bit of a disappointment thing, but I literally left the cage, like I said, Chi-hooed, and went out the back, and I got to share the my corner room with Alima, who was the co-main event, maybe, or main event. Oh no, she was co-main. And she's obviously Hawaiian, from Oahu. So she had this massive walkout thing organized with a performance, speaking on the keeping Hawaiian lands in Hawaiian hands, and a full cultural and everything like that. And they did like a quick thing out the back, like kind of like a practice thing, and it gave me goosebumps. It was like incredible, and I just sat there and I was just like, you're lucky to be in Hawaii. You get paid to get flown to Hawaii to punch people in the face. Don't be sad. Like, you don't have like the right to be sad. Like, yeah, you lost. That's, you know, it is what it is. We'll assess it. We'll get better. And just spinning it in like that quickly, I think, for my last couple, to be honest.
That's super dope.
Is just like, one, it's a conscious thing. You got to do it, and it's harder said than done, but it's so powerful. Like, once you do it, because then I just enjoyed the rest of my week. I got to, you know, spend a week on Oahu, go to Maui, come back to Oahu, then fly back to San Diego, spend I think it was a week or two in San Diego, and then go back to the Gold Coast, such a horrible place, and come back there. You know, like, I was like, I can't be sad. Like, this happened for a reason. I took up the fight obviously for a reason. I had the influence that it was Hawaii, and I really wanted to fight in Hawaii. I maybe rushed myself, whatever. All of these factors played a part for whatever reason that's going to display itself in the future. And I'm better for the experience. Like, of course, maybe my record isn't. Maybe, you know, it does get stressful being in like a cutthroat industry like this, where you're just like, oh, they're going to cut me. I'm going to lose. What am I going to do next? Who am I going to fight next? What do I need to do to get myself back in there? Whatever. All that's normal. But at the end of the day, like, my life's good. I've got money in the bag, a roof over my head, and food on the table. Like, shut the fuck up and keep doing what you need to do to get back. You can't change the past. You can only live in the present.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.